Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to our SWENext panel. And these are our panelists, Hally Chheang, Prital Jariwala, and Ada He. Um, let's start with our first question. So first of all, please introduce yourselves and your affiliation with the Prospect Gearheads. And what is it about, like your affiliation? We can start with you, Hally.
Yeah, so I'm Hally Chheang. I'm currently the president on FRC 2813. In the past, I've been the outreach lead, and last year I was the vice president. And my fourth year on the team, I'm going to be a senior next year. My job this year is pretty much managing the team and making sure that we make cool stuff this year. Champs, right, guys? But yeah, I make sure that the leads are doing their job. I make sure that the teams, staying on schedule and making sure we get stuff done.
Okay, nice. What about you, Prital?
My name is Prital. I'm gonna be the secretary for this coming year, the 2022-2023 school year. Basically, my job is to take notes for the leadership meetings, kind of just keep the Google Calendar, make sure everything's organized, and make sure that everything is in its right place so we're not scrambling and looking around for it when we absolutely need it. And yeah. Oh, and I'm going to be a year next year.
Ada?
Okay, yeah, hi. So I'm Ada. I've served as the FRC 2813 awards lead for 3 years, and now I'm a team alum. So I just graduated this year. I've served on outreach in the past, but my work has mostly been in awards, and I've also done a little bit of software. And so what the awards team does is we apply for the various FRC awards that are offered at each competition. So we manage PIT awards, we come up with a strategy for the written and applied awards, and we represent the team during interviews and such. And so that was a really great experience.
Cool. Okay, now for our first actual question. How and when did you find out about robotics and what made you want to join the team? We can go backwards this time, so Ada?
Okay, so I first learned about I guess FRC robotics in 8th grade when the Prospect Gearheads came to visit my middle school. So before then I didn't know about this organization. And I guess it sounded kind of cool at the time. And then I saw the robot demo, and so I was kind of interested. I was wondering how they built it, and then it seemed cool that a group of teenagers could just get together and create this whole functional robot. I just thought it was pretty awesome, so that caught my attention. But then I didn't really think about it until 9th grade during Club Rush, when they were driving these robots around, and so I figured I'd sign up because there's something to do. And then, yeah, so it kind of introduced me to the world of FRC, which is this whole expansive organization where you can meet lots of other people and do competitions and stuff. And so that was kind of mind blowing. And so, yeah, that's how I learned about the team and why I decided to join. And so at first it really was just a thing for me to do because I didn't know what I was interested in, but then it introduced me to STEM, and I realized that my passions lay in that area, and I met a lot of support. I made this amazing supportive community through 2813. And so, yeah, that's kind of my story with the team.
Very amazing. What about you, Prital?
I also heard about robotics for the first time when I was in middle school, either 7th or 8th grade. I'm pretty sure it was 7th grade because 8th grade, halfway through the year, we shut down. And I remember about seeing the robot demo at our middle school as well. So I'm pretty sure it was in 7th grade. But I thought it was really cool. I was also taking the robotics elective at that time in 7th grade with the STEM teacher at Moreland, Miss Brown. So she was a really big factor in helping me realize that or opening up the world of robotics to me, just so I can take a look and see if it interests me. And it did. So freshman year was online. I joined the team anyways. It wasn't really much for me to learn or for me to do. But then sophomore year, so the last year, was really interesting, and I got to experience a lot more robotics my first season, and I learned so much throughout the year.
Also very cool. How about you, Hally?
Yeah, so I didn't get a middle school outreach presentation. I went to a smaller school called DCS, but I think the first time we encountered FRC was when my dad, he's like a big STEM enthusiast. He found out about the Space Cookies team in our area, and he wanted my sister to join. So he went to their open house, I think when I was in 7th grade. My sister's like 3 years older than me. And well, she didn't really want to join. But then I came around to high school, and again, I was encouraged to join the school team there. And so I said, okay, I'll try it out. And I didn't really get into it very much until like October-ish, which was when Mr. Worley and one of our mentors, Mr. Worley is one of our mentors, and a couple of the freshmen built the Pac-Man robot. And that was like, wow, this is what robotics is about. And that whole energy of the team, just like, you guys are learning amazing stuff. You guys are putting it to the test right now, and you're going to be able to build robots in the future. That was just super cool to me. And yeah.
Very cool. Our next question is actually kind of similar, related to the last one, and you guys did kind of already say this, but what was your experience like joining the team? Prital, do you want to start?
So, like I said, I joined the team when we were online. So it wasn't really an experience. We would just kind of, I remember the general meetings were on Zoom. The juniors and seniors would do presentations. Juniors and seniors at that time, they would do presentations on Zoom about things that they thought were cool. Yeah, so it wasn't really the robotics experience that I got until sophomore year. But yeah, that was my experience joining the team. Not very interesting, but it's so much better now.
Cool. Hally, you want to go next?
Sure. Yeah, I talked a little bit about the Pac-Man robot. That was like my turning point. But generally in freshman year, I was really shy, and I wouldn't talk to many of the people that I didn't know. So what really helped me open up was just like that really welcoming energy we had on 2813, where it was just like, it doesn't matter if you don't know anything or if you aren't really interested in this. Like, they encouraged you to try things out and learn together. Like, sometimes the leadership wouldn't even know, and they were like, oh, let's look it up. And so we just kind of learned together, and that was just like the coolest thing for me. And so ever since then, it's just kind of been like learning to kind of come out of my shell. And now here I am, president. Wow, how did I get here? But yeah, I love this team's energy. Just I think part of it might be just like it's student run, so it's like a lot more chill. People, like, we can joke around pretty freely. But yeah, it was like the team energy that that really shaped my experience on the team, and my development as a person now. And yeah, I'm really glad I came along to this team.
Wait, Ada, what about you?
Yeah, so I talked about my experience a little as well. I guess yeah, so I think I really totally agree with like being shy and intimidated and like confused my very first year on the team, because that was like my experience too, because like everybody like knew so much stuff and like I didn't know anything, and like I wasn't really sure what to do half the time. But then I guess things changed when I eventually like found my niche, because like I think my first year on the team, so my experience was different from you guys because like I was there before you guys both joined. So like the team did something called an assignment day, where like everybody would pick the sub teams they want to be a part of. And so like I just didn't really know what to do, so I joined like the software sub team because I was kind of interested in coding. And then I also joined the awards sub team, which is like, and that was the first year we had it. And so like from there, my journey on the Robotics team kind of took off, because like I really found my niche and I found it on the business side of the team. And so like I learned to help with awards. I got a lot done that year. I went to my first competition, and then like that was really confusing and crazy, but I was like representing the team during an interview and presentation. And so then like, and that was the very first time that our team had done something like that. That was the very first year our team had established a formal awards team, and like pretty much the first time in 10 years, in like 10 or so years, that we were doing a chairman's award presentation. And so, yeah, it's just really fun. And then so from then on, I just always helped with awards. And I really liked doing that. And so after that, like I was never really unsure of what my role was in the team anymore because I had a defined role, I had a defined niche to work in. And so, yeah, it kind of became my goal, just helping the team grow along the outreach and business portions.
Very cool. Next question, I guess. What did you learn from joining the team? I guess some of you already talked about this a little bit too, but that is our next question. So what did you learn from joining the team? I guess we can start with Ada. Is that okay?
Sure. So I think being part of a team really showed me how intersectional technology was. Like, so when it comes to robotics, it's not just building robots. There's also like this whole business side to the team. There's this whole yeah, there's like all these soft skills that you have to build as well when you are working as part of a robotics team. So you need to learn teamwork, you need to learn gracious professionalism. I'm really glad that the institution of FIRST kind of emphasizes those traits because, yeah, it truly goes beyond just building robots. And so technology is not just building things, writing code, working with hardware. You've got to like manage all sorts of administrative detail. That's what comes with being part of like the staff of FRC. That's part of what comes with holding a leadership position on the team. Yeah, and then there's outreach and there's an inclusivity portion where you're supposed to be bringing STEM to more people and to wider audiences. And so that was the part that truly inspired me. And I was just really glad to be able to like work on my outreach skills, to work on my people skills while I was learning to code and building my technical skills.
Very cool. Hally, would you like to go next?
Sure. Wait, were you talking to me?
Either of you is fine. You can go ahead.
Okay, sorry. I think it like cut out a little bit. So, okay. What did I learn from joining the team? Well, I learned a lot about, like Ada said, a lot about soft skills. There's so many things you can just learn from observing the culture and just seeing how everybody interacts with each other. There's so much cooperation involved. I mean, you can't have a team building activity if you're not working as a team. It's not each person contributing, it's kind of what we're doing as a whole. So a lot of soft skills learned, like how to talk to adults. That's also a really important soft skill that some people, they don't have it before joining the team, but now working with our mentors as a part of outreach, as a part of leadership, it becomes a lot easier and a lot more natural. And obviously it's something that you have to learn because you're going to have to interact with different types of people all throughout your life. So I learned a lot of soft skills. I also learned a lot of technological skills, like using the CNC, learning about the robot itself. You just learn so much about engineering just by, you could do it like both by actually actively participating in building the robot and just observing. If you don't like know how to do anything, fine, we've all been there. You can just learn so much just by observing. And also by being a part of Drive Team. I was the operator for this past season. Hally was the driver, and we learned like so much about just cooperation and how to just completely trust the other person, because when you're on the field performing for your entire team, it's you, the driver, the operator, and the drive coach, and it's three of you kind of just making everything everybody has worked so hard for, you're making it all count. And so you learn a lot of cooperation, just learning to trust in the team and in your fellow drive team members. And it's just a really, really, really eventful. You learn so much from that experience.
Very nice. What about you, Hally?
Yeah, I totally agree with everything that's just been said. Most of the time when I'm explaining like the team to people, I'll compare it to a company because I feel like it really runs like you got the business side and you got the technical side, and it all kind of blends together somehow. And it's like you're running like a well-oiled company and people are like working on different sections. And it's so cool because then you can learn about communicating with different people, which is obviously something you're definitely going to need in the future. And I feel like I've learned a lot about like delegating tasks, especially in my lead roles as outreach lead. One of the technical things that I kind of noticed a couple of years ago was like when I first joined, it was really easy to have this like idea you wanted to do, just this goal, and you were like, oh, that's so cool, I want to do it, but you have no idea how to get there. And in first, it's all about kind of like breaking it down into sub teams, taking those steps to get to that full robot. Because when you first join, that robot's kind of overwhelming. You can't see all the different parts; you just see the robot. So over the years, I kind of learned how to break problems down into smaller steps and just like general problem solving. And that's worked for me in business and technical sides all over the team. And yeah, of course, drive team Prital, I love you. Communication skills are a priority in a team. And yeah, you got to make sure that everyone's working together smoothly. Check in with people too, that too. So yeah.
I guess just circling back to like what was said earlier, I really agree with everything both of you guys said. Like, just amazing to be part of like this well-oiled machine that makes it the entire team. And I think like communication skills has been definitely something the team has helped us work on. I know that there's like this impression of the team as like, and like I guess when people say robotics team, I feel like a lot of people think about like just this group of like introverted, kind of geeky, quiet nerds who don't know how to communicate. But like that's not true. I've met so many people through robotics, and like at our past competitions, it's been like my job to walk around and talk to people. Like we literally have jobs on the team where you have to walk around and talk to people you don't know, like something we're expected to do as members of the team. And so I think like the stereotype that exists, it's like definitely wrong. People won't know unless they join the team. And yeah, I guess just like in the past year alone, I've made friends with like people that that I wouldn't have met without robotics. I've like discussed with people I've talked with people from all over California, all over the US, and that's been a really amazing experience. And yeah, we've definitely learned to talk to adults because of all the mentors that are there to help us and support us. Like I used to be terrified to talk to adults. Thanks to the team, it's not so much anymore. And I wouldn't have believed it, but like I'm actually on a first name basis with like some grown-ups. And so that's pretty fun and awesome.
That is pretty cool, being on a first name basis with some adults. Yeah, I guess building off of that last question, is there anything specific from your role as president or secretary, awards lead, any other past role that you had in robotics that you've specifically learned from? We can start with Hally again.
Sure. Yeah. I guess the first thing that comes to mind in like most of my roles was just like staying on a schedule. That's really kind of applied to me because I'm really bad at habits. I procrastinate a lot on a lot of things, but it's like during build season or when you're planning an event in outreach, you got to stick to a schedule or else nothing's going to get out on time. So yeah, that's kind of something that's really stuck out from robotics, I think, because in a team, now you actually have people relying on you. So it's not just you telling you to do something, it's a bunch of people telling you to do something. And that's something I've become like increasingly aware of nowadays. And I think, well, I'll say it's rubbed off on my study habits a little bit, I guess. And that's something I'm definitely taking away from this team on top of everything else, of course. Yeah, and then of course, soft skills, communication is like just a huge thing that I've learned. Because we have a whole bunch of different people on the team. Like Ada was saying, that stereotype that robotics kids are introverts, that's just not true. I learned that like immediately, and it was very interesting. But I've learned to communicate better. And yeah.
Very nice. What about you, Prital?
I think something specific, probably that like this is a team. It's kind of like what Hally said. It's like a well-oiled company or something. Like it's like a company, right? You have people depending on you. You're not just working for yourself. You're all work collectively towards one effort. It's not one person's achievement or one person's goal. It's everybody that's working towards this one goal. And so you have to realize that you have to rely on other people and you have to trust them to get their job done. For example, one person can't just do everything. One person cannot make the whole robot. It's everybody working together for hours and hours every week to build this amazing mechanism and put all the mechanisms there to build that robot. It's everybody working together. So you have to, so something I learned is that you have to be able to depend on other people, trust and work with other people. And sometimes there are disagreements. It's natural. It happens in a company. Not everybody has the same idea, which is good because that way you get a variety of ideas and a variety of ways to make something. But obviously that means that there are disagreements and you move past them, right? You don't like hold grudges or anything. You work together to create the best possible idea by pulling together everyone's ideas and deciding what's going to be best for our team, what's going to make the best robot. And so it's a collective effort. It's not just one effort. And I feel like that's a really important thing to take away from robotics.
Very interesting. Ada, what about you?
Yeah, so I definitely agree with everything that was said before, and those are definitely things that you can take up from like every role in robotics, because that's what like every role seems to emphasize, just like what comes with being part of a team, what comes with working with people. I guess for my role specifically, as awards lead, I had to work a lot in public speaking. I had to work a lot on presentation skills. And so that was definitely like the area that I improved in, the area that I learned a lot. That's the area where I learned, from which I learned a ton of new things about. And so like, I think just having enough practice and being able to like work with other people and coordinate presentations and come up with marketing strategies with them, that definitely improved my confidence. Yeah, so I think like my skills progressed to the point where like it wasn't so scary to like walk in and present in front of a room full of people, and that's been really useful, and I know it'll be like incredibly useful in the future as well. Yeah,
Sorry.
no, it's okay, I just finished my statement, you can go ahead.
Oh no, sorry, I was just gonna ask if I can get some water.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so yeah, that's kind of what I learned from my role on the team. I guess like if I have to add anything else, I'll just say that I guess like, yeah, so timing, deadlines, like what Hally said about like having to rework your skills so that you were no longer procrastinating, all those were skills that I learned as well from my role, because like there's deadlines that we have to work on. We're riders on deadlines on the awards team. And so, yeah, I had to manage my time, had to like actually come up with a plan and stick to it and not skip deadlines for check-ins, or else like we'd fall behind and stuff. And so that helped me rework my study skills. It helped me like rework my planning and organizational skills as well. I used to be really disorganized, but I think with being part of the Robotics team has changed that just in time for college. So that's a relief.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me. I think another thing that I kind of became more comfortable with was just asking questions in general, because you know it's a team. You kind of have to sometimes you have to figure things out on your own, or just like take a role that you're not really familiar with and then just kind of learn it along the way. That was kind of like my experience with Outreach Lead. I asked so many questions to Ms. Khan, and I learned a lot. And yeah, just like comparing that to my freshman year when I wouldn't even talk to like the older students, I think that's something that's going to stick with me in the future. Because like if you're not asking questions, you're not really going to learn very much from the experience, especially if you're like kind of flailing about. It's like, oh, I don't know the answer, I'm just gonna guess, right? And then you're yeah. And I guess kind of circling back to Prital's point about teamwork, I've learned a lot about inclusion, because again, like she said, it can't just be one person doing the whole thing. Even if that person's super experienced and it's like gonna do it right every single time. We need the people to keep coming in and learning, because that's what FIRST is all about. It's about spreading the message of STEM and STEM education, and just making sure that we get as many people into this kind of community as possible. And yeah.
One more thing, kind of unrelated, but working under pressure, obviously to build a robot for FIRST with 6-week deadline. So sometimes there are late nights, especially before competitions. There's some stressful times when something doesn't work. There's stressful times when we keep having the same issue over and over again. But you have to work past that, right? Because every like setback is a learning opportunity, and it's something that we can learn from and prevent next time. Maybe next time we won't have so many can issues because we'll be experienced and know how to work with them. But the point is that it's a whole learning experience, and kind of for a drive team as well, working under pressure is a really big thing, because you have like 2.5 minutes to show to the world what you've done in this entire time of build season. So yeah, working under pressure, decisions on the field, making quick decisions, that's also something that I've learned. And I feel like that's really important, because often you don't have an unlimited amount of time to make decisions, because you need to keep going, keep moving. So yeah, that's also something that I've.
Very nice, all of you. And that's also very informational. Hopefully we all learned what to do and what you'll probably get out of doing robotics. Oh, my question list just went away. Okay. Next question. Is there anything you learned from robotics that can be applied to school and or vice versa? Let's start with Ada this time. We didn't start with you last time, right?
I don't remember, but it's fine. I can start. So yeah, pretty much everything I learned at robotics could be applied to school. Like public speaking, I think my communication with my teacher has definitely improved. I was a TA in my senior year, and so like I actually got over the idea of like intimidating teachers, and then like I became friends with the teacher I was TAing for, and that was really cool. I think we're staying in touch even though I'm going off to college. And then yeah, so communication with adults definitely helped me out in school. So did the organizational and like timing skills I learned as a awards lead. I learned to set deadlines for myself. I learned to like stay to them. And then, yeah, I guess like being part of the software team, my first 2 years, being part of the software team, my first 2 years on the robotics team helped me out with APCSA. So like I went straight into it in sophomore year, and then it was pretty easy just because of like the stuff that I'd been doing for robotics. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking of. Oh right, public speaking skills I picked up from being awards lead helped me out with like in-class presentations. They weren't so nerve-wracking anymore. Yeah, and then I guess like the skills I picked up from school and that applies to robotics team, I learned not to like put so many things on my plate. And that was why like I chose to focus on my work on the business aspect of the team, because that was the area that I was like the most strongly passionate about. And so I was working to like help grow the team, define our mission, extend our outreach, present the team to judges and like other groups that would hopefully help us like expand our efforts and then get more name recognition. And so yeah, I chose to focus on business because I learned that I wasn't good to spread myself like too thin over things. And that was a skill I picked up from high school and just like juggling classes and life and other extracurriculars. So I kind of applied skills from both areas of my life to each.
Very nice. I'm sure we all could use some of that, especially the communication skills. Prital, would you like to go next?
Sure. So I've learned a lot of things from robotics specifically, but like things that could be applied to school generally for me were soft skills, like Ada said already. Talking to adults became a lot easier. Like just communicating with people became a lot more articulate at like communicating with people. especially during group projects or presentations, when you have to communicate with someone, communicate with a small or large group of people in order to get stuff done, in order to make your best project. So I think being in robotics and communicating with other people, learning to with adults, and all of those school soft skills a lot easier. And it also helped me a little bit with my procrastination, because I procrastinate a lot. It's like a fatal flaw, but in robotics, obviously you can't procrastinate all the time. You have stuff to do, you have to get it done. And so that helped me, it kind of blur into my schoolwork. And so now I learned not to leave things for like midnight the night before. And that has definitely helped me a lot with my sleep schedule. And it's making me a much happier person. So join robotics, guys. You learn a lot of things.
Yes, that is absolutely true. You should join robotics, especially Prospect Robotics team. Yeah. What about you, Hally?
Yeah, you all heard it, guys. Robotics makes you happier. I totally agree with that. Just saying. But yeah, I feel like I'm probably gonna say a lot of the same things as these guys. Communication for a team, especially in like group projects, you want to make sure that you're getting stuff done on time. So I guess, yeah, scheduling and team communication. Oh, and definitely public speaking. I remember like my very first awards interview for robotics was very awkward. I think Ada and Carmen like had a phone issue or something. So I was just sitting in the call, just like, hey, can you give us 15 more minutes? Because like I was a freshman, I didn't know what I was doing. And then so after that, I've just kind of developed more from just practicing, and like robotics has just been a space for me to practice these skills really. And I've been able to apply them in so many different places. Yeah, but mainly delegating tasks and like communication in school. Like it is said, talking to adults is kind of like the big thing. I'm able to talk to teachers without being so easily intimidated all the time. And of course, asking questions when I need to like know something. And yeah, delegating tasks. I know in a lot of AP classes, you need to work in a team. And well, knowing a lot of AP students, they put it off until the very end. So we just got to make sure that stuff is like done and people know exactly what they're doing in the team. That's something that's definitely going to stick with me forever. Just makes life easier, guys. But yeah, let's see. I guess from school and robotics, it's kind of a back and forth kind of thing passed along, the procrastinating thing, because when I'm not great at managing my time and it just kind of switches off every so often. It's like school, I'll get a ton of work and be like, oh, I need to get stuff done. And then once that lightens off, robotics starts to get busy. So it's just like reminding myself to stay on time and do stuff in an orderly fashion. Like prioritize, get priorities instead of playing video games all the time. But yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, I'm sure we all could apply all those skills that you've talked about, everyone has talked about, to school, and vice versa to robotics. For our next question, what advice do you have for high school girls who want to pursue STEM related fields? Hallie, did you want to start?
Sure. Let's see, advice. Well, if you're really interested in STEM, I feel like you shouldn't stop yourself, even if there are like a majority of guys on the team. I think when I joined, there was only like 3 or 4, maybe less, like girls who would be at the lab and like actively doing technical things. And I don't know, I kind of took that as a challenge. I was like, hey, what if I became like part of how the team is represented as a girl on a majority by team? And it was, I don't know, it wasn't too much of a problem for me, but I guess that kind of varies sometimes. If it's like a really discriminating kind of team, that's probably not the team for you. But if you're really into STEM, like try to find another team. Like robotics is really cool. But yeah, don't let that stop you. Do what you love, learn from everything. It's a really amazing experience. Can't think of more things to say. I mean, that's pretty much it. Just like pursue what you love and you're gonna get the best out of it. I think that's just kind of what I've been going by because I really enjoy it here. Yeah.
Very nice. Ada, what about you?
Yeah, so for any girls who are interested in pursuing STEM, like I say, just go for it. Basically what Hally said, like just go for it. If you truly care about it, then it's what you want to do. And if it's what you want to do, like well, then why are you stopping yourself from doing it? Just go after it. And I guess something else that helps is finding those communities that will be there to support you. Like I think, yeah, so my first year on the team, there were hardly any girls either. I think there might have been even fewer than Hally's year, if that was somehow possible. But I did find like a mentor who was really passionate about having girls on the team. And so like I worked with her. I worked with my sister. That was like one other girl I knew was on the team. And so yeah, we made it work. And I guess afterwards I just kept trying to find those communities that would like support me, that would inspire me to keep doing STEM, to like stick it through. And yeah, I did. I spoke to like lots of other girls on different teams. Some of their teams were very male dominant, but they took it as a challenge as well. And then, yeah, so like lots of the girls I spoke to were in leadership teams then, because we're in leadership positions then, because they were so passionate about what it was they did. And so they stuck with it, like even though there might have been adversity. And I guess if there isn't that community for you, if like you don't find the wholesome environment, you can try to make your own. And there are like ways to do that. I think like SWENext is one of those ways. And that's like kind of what the panel here is about. We're talking about SWENext as well. So yeah, there's like ways to go out there and make that community if it's not one that's readily available for you. You can find other girls, you can find other people with similar interests. And yeah, just like surround yourself with the right people and then they'll help you out. I think that's what I have to say for now. If I come with anything, I'll mention it later.
Nice, nice. What about you, Prital?
Well, Hally and Ada already touched upon most of the things that I was gonna say, but I think it's even like at the initial stage when you're first getting into STEM, it can be really, as a girl, it can be really, really intimidating because STEM fields are largely male dominated. Like you look at most of the STEM field demographics and you can see that there are an overwhelming amount of males compared to the amount of females. That can be really, really intimidating, especially for someone who doesn't know that they love STEM yet. Maybe they don't love STEM. Maybe they're just interested. Maybe they're before the point of getting to love STEM. Maybe they just want to see what it's like, want to know if it's something that they could possibly love in the future. It can be really, really intimidating because you see all of these guys and you're just like, okay, this is not the place for me. And you go and do something else. But that's not true. That is not true. If it's something that you are, it's like, it's an internal effort, right? You have to first want to get involved. If you don't want to get involved, then obviously anything that comes as a setback is going to seem really, really overwhelming and it's going to put you back a lot. So if you have that, like that desire to learn about STEM, if you want to do it, like it's that saying, if there's a will, there's a way. If you want to do it, nothing is able to stop you. Even if it is really male dominated, even if it is really intimidating, if you really just want to even get to learn about it, nothing's going to stop you from just trying to learn about it. And like Ada said, find your community. If your team or if the people that you're surrounding yourself with aren't encouraging you, and if they aren't supporting you, then it's probably not the right community for you. And you can try to build your own community. If you really aren't finding your place, like like I said before, if there's a will, there's a way. If you want to do it, you absolutely can. And luckily, most of the people that most of or all of the STEM people I've met, really, they're really encouraging. They're really supportive, especially Miss Khan. Miss Khan is the one who helped us get our SWENext affiliation as well. She has been incredibly supportive of everything that us girls are doing on the team. So we are very, very, very grateful to her for that. And yeah, really just if you find yourself feeling intimidating, you can do it. It's not just because it's male dominated doesn't mean a girl can't do it. Come on. It's not the 1800s. Come on, guys. We're in 2022. Go up, please. If you don't think that you can, that you absolutely can, don't ever put your, and that's my TED talk.
No, like that makes a
Round of applause. Speaking pure poetry, Patel.
I think just adding on, I think typically if a field is male dominated, then that's a sign, like that's all the more reason for you to be there. That's a sign that you need to be there. If it's male dominated and you're vaguely interested, don't be intimidated. Just go in and try it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you guys mentioned the community because I think that's really important. Yeah, just finding that kind of support mechanism for you on the team if you feel like you need it. I guess that's kind of the cool thing about FIRST is that all the teams are so like connected, just everywhere. So if you really need like support from, I don't know, maybe like an all-female team, there's Janksters and there's Space Cookies and like the members are kind of everywhere. You can totally reach out to them and like just get some support or encouragement if you need it. But yeah, like Prital's TED Talk. Yeah, just go for it. I mean, you might figure stuff out about yourself that you didn't know about before if you don't try it, or if you try it. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and if you are underrepresented in STEM, then like I think underrepresentation in STEM is like a serious issue that people are starting to address. There's all these sorts of resources out there for you. Like if you're a woman, if you're non-binary, if you're a person of color, there are like programs like Code with Clossy out there. I did their web dev camp this summer. It's amazing. It's so wholesome. So you guys can like check programs like that out. There's Girls Who Code. There's all sorts of things out there. It's like people are starting to realize that not having representation in STEM, not having like enough girls get a seat at the table is a serious issue. And so they're starting to address that. And that's like kind of inspiring. And yeah, it just gives me hope. It's another great reason to try it out.
Yeah, thank you all for that very informational and inspiring talk, especially Pratal's TED Talk. That was really amazing. Okay, and next question. Are you excited for your next step in STEM? And well, next step being like next year, next whatever step you're taking next. And how do you think robotics, and do you think robotics has prepared you for that? Oh, sorry, I forgot to say who's going first. Hally, would you like to go first? But you didn't start last time, right?
I don't remember. I'll go first. It's fine. Next step. Oh, I guess that's next season for me. Yes, I think robotics has prepared me for that. I mean, it's very FRC specific. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting closer to champs next year. I think we can do it next year. It's gonna be really cool. That's like we're at our peak, guys. We're just gonna keep getting better from here. I'm really excited for that. Just to see how far we can go next year. And I guess I think robotics has really helped me narrow down what I like to do. Like I'd be totally fine doing a career just doing this exact thing every single day. So probably mechanical engineering for me. And I really want to see like the robots we're making, they're playing games. But when we apply that to the real world, we could be going out into space. We could be like building stuff in our world, and it's that can impact like thousands of people. And I think that's going to be really cool to be a part of, hopefully in the future. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Very nice, very nice. Ada, what about you?
Okay, so for me, my next step is college, I guess. So I'm going to be heading to UC San Diego this autumn, and then my major is cognitive science. So that's kind of like, it kind of draws off the interests I've had for a while in high school. So it combines like technology, it combines psychology and neuroscience. So it's kind of like, I guess, like human centered. And so that's sort of what I've been working on the team, like a little bit related, kind of distantly. But it's definitely a STEM field. And I think like being part of Robotics has really cemented my interest in pursuing a STEM field and pursuing something technology related. And so the particular area of cognitive science I'm interested in is neural computation and machine learning. I think that's like incredibly cool, all the things, stuff about computer vision, whatnot. And so yeah, I'm definitely excited. I'm definitely excited to like to build off of everything I've learned in high school as part of the Rocks team, and like build off of everything I've been self-studying on my own. And I think like post graduating from FRC 2013 and graduating from high school, like I've become a major full-blown STEM nerd. Like I had my web dev coding camp at the start of the summer, and then like I was just thinking about robotics and like kind of wishing I'd like spent less time doing homework, so I could have spent more time in the lab. But yeah, I was just remembering all my experiences and then just like reassessing all the STEM experiences I've had and realizing that that was when I was most happy. That was when I was most passionate. And so like lately I've pretty much been like coding every day. I've been doing research on my own. Like I'm reading this interesting book. You can't see it because of my background, but it's all about the history of AI. It's like I'm turning into a geek. I'm kind of obsessed. It's fine. It's fine. It's good because I like doing it and I'm happy doing it. So yeah, I'm definitely really excited for my next steps. And I think I'm going to like stay in touch with SWE and the First World. I think I might like to come back as a mentor for our FRC team. And then maybe I'll probably join the collegiate SWENext SWE network and my college as well. And so just really interested in continuing to like be a woman in STEM, continuing to like formulate my science and technology identity, and continuing to like meet new people who have the same interests. And yeah, I just really excited to build off of everything.
Very cool. And we would love to have you come back as a mentor. That would be really awesome. Yeah, you can see that Hally obviously thinks that too. Yeah, okay. Prital, what about you?
My next year will be as a junior, so I will still be on the team, obviously. Next season, like Hally, I really, really, really hope we get to go to champs. That would be an amazing experience. I would totally give up a week of junior year to do that, even if it's like right before AP exams. I would totally do that. But yeah, I really, 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 really hope we get to go to champs because we worked really, really hard this year. And I know we're going to work even harder next year, and we're going to build the best robot we have ever made. And it's going to go to champs. I'm calling it. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to see what more I can learn in the next build season, because the game will be different. There'll be different things we're going to focus on. And there'll be so many different things to learn from there. And even during off season, I'm learning how to CAD right now. So I'm already learning things.
Very awesome, very awesome. Yeah, I'm very excited for everyone to for their next step next year. I hope we will get to champs. That would be very awesome. We all would really, really enjoy that. That is actually our last question. Does anyone have anything else to build off of that? Seems not. Okay. This has been a great SWENext panel, guys. Good job. I don't have anything else to say either, so bye.
Thanks for hosting, Cassidy.
Thank you so much for being an excellent moderator.
You guys have been excellent panelists too.
Yeah, it's great to see everyone. I'm sure we'll get to champs next year. I'm just excited to see what you guys do. And I guess everyone watching, have a great evening.
Yes, have a great evening, everyone.